How's it going, YouTube? Sergio Becerra II here again in my YouTube channel, Frankenstein. And today I want to bring you all a new video on some concerns that I have regarding this past week. As we all know, on Tuesday, December 6th of this month, there was a runoff election for the U.S. Senate seat in the state of Georgia between incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock and challenger and former NFL player Herschel Walker. To be clear with you, I was putting my support for Walker, but I knew for a fact Warnock was going to win. I had no doubt about it. As much as I wanted Walker to win, I didn't see any chance whatsoever. So that now leads with the Democrats in full control of the Senate with 51 seats in the Senate, with Republicans only having 49. And it became clear to me, I'm done with voting. I'm done. And I'll tell you why. I've had some thoughts over the past year that my mind was changing in some political beliefs. Excuse me. Now, I am a constitutional conservative, but registered as a Republican. I still hold on to my conservative beliefs and principles regarding our Constitution. But it has gone to a point that I'm calling for a change. And I will be advocating for something else. A different form of society, a different government that still maintains our current belief system, even though it's gone downhill. I no longer believe in republicanism. I don't mean the political party. I'm talking about the constitutional republic, which some people believe we're a democracy. No, we're not a democracy. We're to this day a constitutional republic, even though it's gotten to a point we're starting to transform into one. There's a huge difference in between a republic and a democracy. But I'm advocating for something a bit more different, which I've been holding back up until this point. And that is, like I said, I don't longer believe in republicanism. I don't longer believe in a republic. I am now an American monarchist. You heard me correctly. I am now an American monarchist. That means I am advocating for a form of government in which a monarch, either a king or a queen, is running this country, in which I'm willing to get behind with. Again, I said America is still a constitutional republic, so I'm in favor of a constitutional monarchy. But I now consider myself as a constitutional conservative monarchist. And another thing is, even though America was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, and right now we're at the point that people are just abandoning God and going down a different way. We are abandoning traditionalism for modernism, in which I'm just saddened by it. And kind of sickens me the way how we're abandoning God, and not only that, where people are just trashing God and everything else. Now, as a Catholic, a traditionalist Catholic who attends the Latin Mass, one thing that I want to be clear. Like I said, I'm now a constitutional conservative monarchist. But I'm also a constitutional conservative Catholic monarchist, because I believe in traditionalism and we need to get ourselves, align ourselves back with God, and to lead a better future for America. Even though it will never happen in life, but I kind of believe in my mind there could be a change. Unless I have to go on it on my own to advocate for a different change, to rally whatever support I can get. And I know it's not going to be that simple. Sorry. Um, I'm not sick, just trying to combat this cough I've had like almost 2 weeks now. And mind never mind the sound you might hear from outside. It's been pouring hard lately, and I have not left the house. Uh, in fact, I've been well, even though I should be in church right now, but because of the weather right now, I'm gonna be watching a live mass, which is like which is to me better safe than sound, especially with this cough right now. So so that's it. I'm now a monarchist. I'm gonna do what I can to try to find a way to even try to transform this country to hopefully like bring bigger balances and more support to the country. Trying to get it more stable because right now the republic is now a joke and it's a failure already, especially with our voting system because our voting system has been nothing but garbage since the 2020 election, in which we've got to the point instead of getting all our votes done in a day, it now takes like 1 to 2 weeks to get everything done, especially after uh, watching this runoff. Now, this occurred in the state of Georgia. I'm not from the state of Georgia. I'm from California, and I've actually been to Georgia twice in my life. So our leadership in this country has been a disaster. And the thing is, right now we're already now divided, and it's just getting worse and worse by the minute. Now, when it comes to division in this country, it doesn't matter which president, who's in charge right now, and who's being accused of dividing. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden right now. But as a political philosopher, well, I'm just an ordinary philosopher who talks about different subjects, especially in politics, that I observe, critique, and give my final analysis. And as I've said, I am a conservative. I know Joe Biden is dividing the country, even though some have accused Donald Trump of dividing the country, which I know that's not true. He has not seen anything very vile that has divided the country. Joe Biden, who has a record of vile rhetoric that has divided this country. And I some of the stuff he has said from the time he was a senator in the 70s up until this point, later becoming vice president under Barack Obama, and now him being president, there's some stuff he has said that is like not only divisive but racist too, and he has a record of it. If y'all think Donald Trump has a record of being divisive and racist, which everybody accuses him of, is not true. Biden has that record, and he has said some stuff that has been very, very bad. Sorry, but at this point, the Republic is just no more. I can't deal with it. That's why I'm not going to vote in any future election. I have now made it clear I'm not going to vote ever again in any election whatsoever. Now, as I was saying, I am a Catholic. I'm a devout traditionalist Catholic. So, as we all know, the founding fathers, even though they founded the country on Judeo-Christian values and principles, but in reality, we notice that most of the founders and the some of the earlier presidents, like George Washington, were involved with the Freemasons, which is a demonic, evil society. because they don't believe in God. They believe in an architect they believe in an architect that created the world. And over the centuries, like way after the founding of the church by Christ, their goal and mission is to destroy the church, the Catholic Church, altogether. Even though the founding fathers and some of the earlier presidents do say that they're Judeo-Christians, which they were, but in reality they were Masons. Even though the country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, but in reality it's all Freemasonry. Our Constitution was created by Freemasons. For example, the First Amendment of the Constitution, which is the right to free speech and freedom of the press. As a Catholic, I hate having to have my head filled with well, I'm trying to say is not have my head filled, but I do my best to avoid being ignorant and have ignorance altogether, but I end up learning this the hard way, which is free speech is a problem. So, as a Catholic, I thought if America were to become a Catholic monarchy, but a constitutional one, free speech in America has to be limited. I'm sorry. If you remember some of my previous videos where I talked about Pope Gregory the 16th encyclical Orari Vos, which he does talk about, which I talked about from what he said that free speech, religious liberty, and freedom of the press are a problem. Free speech in America, as of this point today, is a problem. We just got out of control. Not only we're abandoning God, we're bashing God altogether. We're bashing Christianity, and Christianity is always getting bashed constantly, 24/7, all the time, and I'm getting so sick of it. So here's the thing: if America were to become a monarchy, since I do plan to advocate for one, I think there should be limitations to free speech. So therefore, when it comes to religion and all aspects, that should not be allowed. You cannot bash God. You cannot bash Jesus Christ. You cannot bash the church whatsoever. You can't say. I don't think there should be any point of saying all that. And there's further limitations on free speech that I'm willing to put in my mind and to try to create that. So see, free speech has to be put to a limit right now. As for some of the other amendments within our Constitution, some of it has to be abolished. But some of the other amendments in the Constitution we can still preserve, like the right to bear arms. I'm still going to keep the Second Amendment. Of course, I believe everyone has a right to own a weapon and the right to defend themselves at all costs. So, our republic has just gone down the toilet, and it can't. There's no way I see at any point in the near future that it will survive unless something changes. So, when the founding fathers drafted the Constitution, it was mainly 10 amendments. So therefore, more freedom and independence, and more freedom, liberty, independences for the people, limited power for the government. But ever since 1776, originally we were supposed to. It went from being a small government, which was originally drafted in the Constitution, which should be still to this day, but now we have expanded much more, and it's gotten out of hand. We have expanded a lot of government, and it's just getting out of control. And like I said, it's getting out of hand. That all needs to change, because in monarchies, like England, there's only, if I remember hearing correctly, there's only 3 branches within the English system, which is Parliament, the government in general, and the monarchy. Now, one of my friends on Facebook, I'm not going to say his name, he's from Canada. He is a monarchist. And since the day of his birth, he has already sworn. Since the day of his birth, already he's already sworn allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II. Now he's already sworn allegiance to King Charles III. I'm American. Um, of course, I was born under republicanism, but actually did love and support both Queen Elizabeth and now I do support King Charles. I'm not a, even though I'm not. Again, I'm American. I'm not swearing allegiance to him, but I can support him. I'll support him, but as an American, I can't swear allegiance because I'm not from Canada or from Britain, so I can't swear allegiance to him. But I can only give support. But only my allegiance to the country. I've already sworn my allegiance just to the country alone in general, not to whoever's president, the country in general. Because our pledge of allegiance is to both the flag and the country and to the republic from which it stands, which is in the Pledge of Allegiance. So yes, I'm I've already sworn my allegiance to both the flag and the country. Now, let me point something out here. I do not hate America. I love America. But the things I hate right now is that our culture is changing. Our way of society and government is changing. That's what I hate. Is the way our government is right now, how massively it's gotten, and a lot of changes that have occurred. Our culture, our original culture of independence and liberty, that's being demolished. Our constitution is being demolished. Our society is being demolished right now. And from what I've heard from constitutional conservative scholars, we are now in a post-constitutional era. And this all started with Barack Obama because we were losing our freedoms under him at the time. Donald Trump did his best at the time to make sure our constitutional rights were preserved. Now with Biden in charge, it's gone worse. In fact, one thing I've learned right now, like I have said, we're a constitutional republic, not a democracy, which Democrats in this country think we are a democracy. Those are two separate things. In a democracy, one party system, one party rule, one side thinking. And one thing about democracies, it's all universal equality, not individual liberties like in republics like here in the United States. That's all changing. Sorry, still my respiratory system still coughing. So, and one thing about democracies, it always leads to dictatorships. People have accused Trump of being a dictator. I know that's not true. Biden, a career politician who's been in politics for 50 years now, over 50 years now. Now almost 51 years, because he became a senator in 1972, and this year marked 50 years in politics, from being a senator to vice president, now to president. Donald Trump only became a politician by running for president. That was his only political job. And one thing I loved about Trump, which I still do, he worked for this country for free. And he even said from the beginning he was only going to accept one simple dollar from his presidential salary every year. Give the rest away to charity, which he did. And a lot of people think he was only doing this to line his own pockets. Well, we have a president right now who's been in politics a lot longer, and we've already noticing it already because his crackhead smoking son already has been using the powers of his father's office as when he was vice president to do these shady business dealings overseas, which he had no business being in with. And now he's getting exposed already day after day after day. And Joe has known all along about his son Hunter's business dealings, and even though he's denied it, but he's getting exposed every single time. And we know that Joe Biden is the big man. I mean, the big guy, and then he's the one getting a huge 10% cut, whatever his son Hunter makes. So this proves our country's falling with a lot of corruption and a lot of insanity. And again, as I've mentioned, we're a lot of people are moving away from God, bashing God, trashing God constantly, and we're now gone to the point where this country's gone insane with nonstop, insane immorality, and we're noticing it a lot because we have now entered an era of wokeism, which has been a big problem. And wokeism is killing this country with a lot of stuff. I'm not going to even get into it because it's like a long list. And like I said, a lot of it has to do with immorality. So I can't put up with this kind of thing. That's why I'm now a monarchist. And we need to get back to individual rights, less powers for government, more liberties and freedoms for the people. But our government has gone totally bonkers and insane. And, it's not just coming to democracy, but we've got Democrats who are sounding like communists, and communists are a real problem. Eventually, we have members in the Democrat Party. Well, even though they're registered Democrats, but in reality, they're socialists. And socialism is a killer. And we know that. And now they want to bring that kind of BS to us. We don't want that. So that's why I'm advocating for new change within our government and a change in the country. That's why I say monarchy is better. Because we're right now divided between who to get behind as a for someone who has ever who I mean it's been difficult for us to get behind someone it's been difficult for us to get behind someone who is president right now, even though I was behind Trump, but not behind Biden. No, he's the real problem, not Trump. Biden accused Trump being corrupt and always lining his own pockets when it's been the opposite, and also hypocritical when we're seeing Joe Biden and his son Hunter seeing themselves get exposed. And ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter, yeah, we're seeing it now. We're seeing it now how they suppressed the story on Hunter Biden's laptop just to get Biden in the White House and do it. And now we're learning right now that some people, some well-known figureheads were involved in trying to ban Trump from Twitter this whole time. And right now we're seeing our country being eroded again. Now, when it comes to different forms of government, let me explain some history here. If you look back at ancient Greece, like in Athens, they tried democracy and it only worked for a century and it collapsed because the corruption and control of their government became a problem. As their counterpart, Sparta, that was a monarchy for a good longer period of time, worked even better. But the Spartan monarchy fell because their last Spartan king was corrupt and he got sold out by his subjects to the Romans. So that ended. If I remember correctly, Greece fell under Roman control. Now, as to the Roman Republic, well, ancient Rome to be exact, they were once a monarchy, but the Romans overthrew their last king and became a republic. But here's the thing, the Roman Senate was made up of aristocrats, even though they had a voting system, but you only voted for people who came from powerful families until it finally became an empire under Augustus Caesar. So I would say Augustus, so far in my mind, has been the best emperor who has managed to bring peace within Rome for a good period of 41 years. So from the first century all the way to the 5th century, there have been emperors that have been really bad, very corrupt, only for political gain and just absolute power hungry and thirsty power. A lot of them were evil, a lot of them were corrupt. So far between Augustus and some emperors, they were good, but a lot of them were bad. That's why the Roman Empire fell into decline and then later fell. And then you look at other republics like Florence and Italy, they were, even though it was a republic, but the House of Medici, they had control of the city the whole time. They controlled the votes, no matter what. And then that republic fell. And then you got Venice, the Republic of Venice, also in that same time period in the Renaissance. They were a republic, but since there have been conflicts, if I remember correctly, if I remember hearing correctly from some documentaries and some research, they had conflicts with the Catholic Church, especially during the Reformation, when it came to forbidden theological teachings from Protestants like Martin Luther, in which they try to do everything they can to censor those kind of books and also destroy them, which the Catholic Church has forbidden new doctrines for being formed. So it made it harder to stop. It made it harder for Rome to stop Venice from the spread of Protestantism within Italy, since Italy was still a Catholic nation, still. In which in 1606, Venice was later excommunicated by the Church because the flow of forbidden books involving Protestantism was still being spread and it couldn't be stopped. So that's why the Index of Prohibited Books was formed. Now, another republic. There's one more republic in particular, and that would be France. The French Republic has been a problem in my mind for a long time, since the revolution in 1792, which led to the execution of their last king, Louis XVI. And France, to this day, their republic has been a failure over the over the last 200 years, because from what I researched on, France kept reforming and restoring its republic over and over again, even though it was already a republic and they had to like reform it like 4 or 5 times. Even though the let's see, first became a republic in 1792, then became an imperial monarchy under Napoleon Bonaparte, and then the restoration of the Bourbon dynasty under Louis XVIII, and then was later succeeded by his youngest brother Charles X, and then Louis Philippe, who was from the House of Orleans, was the last king of France, and that's when the monarchy finally ended and officially became a republic permanently with its very first president. But still, France's republic has been a huge problem. Our republic, going all the way back to 1776, it was going well for a while, for a good while, but up until this point in this modern day, it has become a huge problem. So that's why I'm now a monarchist, and I will advocate for a new form of government to get behind a king or a queen that will lead this nation to better peace and prosperity, because the republic is just out of control. We have allowed our government to get bigger, even though under the Constitution it was only meant to get smaller. I mean, I'm sorry, that the Constitution within our country was only meant to have a small government and limited power to the government, more freedom and power and sovereignty to the people. So I still believe in those principles to this day, conservatively and constitutionally, even though the king is the sovereign, even though kings and queens are the sovereign heads of state, but power should be shared with the people. So fairness is my belief. Less power to the government, more power to the people. So if America were to become a monarchy, which I will advocate for, I believe there should be fairness, limited power to the monarchy, to a monarchy, and the government, more power to the people. But the government has to be small. That's it. We have allowed this expansion to go on too long. So that's all I have to say. So I do believe in time for some changes within our constitution and within our country, and trying to get back to traditionalism in this country, and of course, a way of life, a different way of life. Ch- Keep holding on to the same culture within America, but the society, which all this insanity has grown, has to stop with the wokeness and the bashing of God. That has to come to a stop. All these insanities and immoralities have to come to a complete end. But the insane immorality with all this wokeness has to come to a stop. It has to stop. We got to get back to Christian values, and we've had it. And the bashing of God has to come to a stop too. Some of you are probably thinking, well, if you're a monarchist, why don't you just move to England and support King Charles? I'm not going anywhere. No, I'm staying here in my country. I still love America. I, like I said before, I don't hate America. I love America. So I'm not going anywhere. And here's a question to some people: what makes you think that republics and democracies are way better than monarchies? What makes you think that voting for random people is going to make anything better? When what we've noticed over the years, we have seen people getting into power, actually enriching themselves by staying in power for a long time, lining their own pockets. Uh, we know they've been lining their own pockets with certain activist groups, people who get behind them, or certain organizations and groups that actually we know we know for a fact, without a doubt, own our own politicians that we voted for. And it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. We know what the game is. So what makes you think that uh, republicanism is any better than a monarchy? We're just going to get screwed over by voting for people who are not going to give it who are not going to totally give any care to what we think or say. So that's why we need a change. So tell me. So I don't care what criticism you throw at me. I don't care what. I'm not leaving America. I will still be an American, and I will love America no matter what. I just want to change completely. That's what I'm going to be advocating for. I may not have the support right now. I know it's not going to be that easy, but I'm going to do whatever I can to gain support to help advocate for a different change and for a cause. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't care. So this wraps it up for this video. So till next time, I am done with the voting system in this country. I'm done with voting. I am done with republicanism in America. I am now a monarchist and an American monarchist, a constitutional conservative monarchist, a constitutional conservative Catholic monarchist, and I will do whatever I can to change America. Whether I die trying or not, or fail to, I don't care what you people think of me, because our republic is dead. It's become a joke and it's a failure. It's just the government that has failed us. That's what made this country fail. It's our government and our way, our society, our culture that's gone into decline. That's what's made this country look like a failure and a joke and a disaster. And I believe there's time for a change. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I don't care what you think, what I have to say. So until next time, take care. Bye.